Today's topic of discussion is high value women. So in the previous video, we discussed some key points in terms of what makes a high value man. Now in this video, we're going to be discussing some key characteristics of what makes a high value woman. Now, first point is purity. Now I'm going to play this 30-second clip of a woman called Sadia. She's talking about what makes a high value woman. So I'll play it now for you guys.
High value woman, the first ingredient, of course, is beauty. Not because that's what I think, but that's because that's what men respond to the most. But the second and most important ingredient that a lot of men forget is a high value woman has to have the ability to reject attention.
Okay, so you guys are back now. You've had to watch it out. So Sadia, she was just blabbing on in the video, waffling on about the first characteristic of a high value woman is beauty. Now, she mentions beauty as the first important ingredient. Wow. Well, I disagree. The truth of the matter is, when it comes to a high value woman, the first and most important thing is purity. A woman who's not promiscuous. Now, a woman can have the most makeup on, seen as the most attractive, but that woman there isn't going to be taken seriously by guys. Now, there's certain women who are OF fans, only fans. They do all these type of activities. They're seen as pretty, but how many of those guys are going to actually take them seriously and actually marry them and see them as long-term partners? The answer is not many. You know, guys are just going to use and abuse those women, low quality women, and just disregard them. So the first thing is, when it comes to a high value woman, is somebody who's not promiscuous, somebody who keeps to herself, she's reserved, she's not entertaining haram relationships. You know, so when you see a woman, she's just out and about, chatting up all these guys, sleeping around with a whole bunch of different guys every single week, every single month, and so on. That ain't a high value woman. So this is what it is. That's why these people, these women talking about relationships, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Now, just a background story about that woman, Sadia. Many years ago, she was actually my psychology teacher. Can you believe it? I don't know how the hell this woman blew up all over social media because of obviously plastic face, you know, cosmetics or whatnot, and just chatting a whole bunch of rubbish. Now, some of the points she makes in the videos, I ain't gonna completely disregard it. Some of the points she makes is okay. Majority of it's just waffle. She don't know what she's talking about. You know, so this woman here, right, I ain't even gonna try and violate, but it's straight up facts right now what I'm gonna say. She used to come into school dressed in the most promiscuous outfits. I mean, she talks about a high value woman. Let's talk about herself, okay? Take a good look in the mirror. So she would wear the most tight outfits. See her flipping batty and everything. You know, chest area, bum area, you name it. You know, what sort of person is dressing like that in front of school kids? You know, it's completely disgusting. At the time, I was 16, 17 years old. I must have studied there for like 1 year at Greenfield High School. And when I saw that, I was just like, what's going on? So she obviously gets a kick out of it. She's got narcissistic characteristics within her. You know, but obviously the beta males in the comment section, in the videos, they don't know this about her. They don't understand how this person here gets a kick out of flipping, getting young boys to stare at her in a dirty sexual way. That ain't no high value woman. Not to mention she's been flipping divorced like twice. And then you wonder why. So I remember back in, I basically used to just like not do my homework certain times. And then she would be like, oh yeah, you have to stay behind and just finish off the work. I was like, whatever. That time there I was trying to take my studies seriously. Because before that, I didn't really care. I wouldn't have even bothered turning up. But yeah, so I was coming up after school, half an hour, 40 minutes or whatever. It wasn't too long. Like, she knew like, oh, she can't try and tell this guy to stay for an hour or something because he ain't going to come. But anyway, long story short, right, I'll be doing my little studying after school. And then in the rooms behind me, she'd be shouting at some other guy, some other Gora guy, some white guy. I can't remember his name. Got glasses on. He was a nice guy and that. He's a cool guy. Like, I remember I used to get on with him as well. She should just be shouting at him, just trying to dehumanize him, degrade him. If he had like a disagreement or he had a different viewpoint, she'd just get onto him, start just arguing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That right there ain't attractive to masculine men. Somebody who just bickers all day and just wears these dirty outfits. So that's what it is when it comes to actual high value women. Women who are actually of value. They're feminine, cooperative, friendly, caring, loving. They've got good qualities, feminine qualities. They're not dressed in a dirty sexual way, especially in front of school kids. You should have some shame. But I digress there. So anyway, that's what it is with these people here. They go on the internet, start talking a whole bunch of nonsense about relationships. They ain't got a clue about relationships. So as I said, the first point is a woman who's not promiscuous. She's got strong connection with God. She's got good morals. That right there is a high value woman. That's the first characteristic. Number one, when it comes to a high value woman and when it comes to a high value man as well. When it comes to actual good morals. Good morals is number one. So next point is scarce. Now a lot of these guys on the internet claiming that they're high value men. Cool. Let's put that to the test. Look at the women that they're with. Women who dress in bikini photos. Got their cleavage out. Got all this makeup on. Got cosmetics done. Is that woman scarce? Is she somebody who's limited, where not many people can see her, or is she exposed to the whole world where everyone can see her? That ain't no high value woman. A woman who's just out on display for every guy to watch her. That's why with these OF fans, OnlyFans girls, $40.99 or whatever subscription it is, £10, £20 or whatever it is, get to see everything. How's that high value? That's a low value woman. So going back to it, somebody who's scarce. So scarcity equals valuable. Now something which isn't scarce, it's not valuable. It's not high value. Some of these people here, they just got it so backwards. They've got it so twisted. They're thinking that, oh yeah, if I expose myself to the whole world, if I create all these dirty X-rated videos, create all this filth, post it on the internet, I'm somehow valuable. These people here are the lowest value people. What's shocking is how these people are even getting platforms. How are they getting platforms and how are thousands and thousands of people watching them, liking their videos and just commenting and getting all these views? That's what it is. The beta males have destroyed the game. That's another video I'd created previously as well. Giving these dirty, promiscuous women so much power. Sket type girls. So, next point is feminine. Now, how many women do you guys see today that are really, really feminine? Somebody who's cooperative, friendly, caring, loving, submissive. She's willing to follow orders without questioning all the time. Lets the man lead. Does things the right way. Uses femininity to her advantage. A lot of these women are jumping into masculine roles, masculine frame, and then just switching between both of them, feminine then masculine, masculine then feminine, to benefit themselves, to suit themselves. Now that's why these women who are like career type women, going into these masculine type environments, competitive environments, these environments don't create submissive, cooperative women. They create disobedient women. That's why so many of these women are so disobedient now. They don't want to listen to no one. They think they know everything. They ain't got no femininity within them anymore. That's why masculine men get icked out by them. They get turned off. Anytime I see any masculine woman, anytime you guys come across any masculine women, you're going to be like, keep that away from me. I'd rather just stay single. That's what it is with a lot of these girls in the Western societies now. They're so masculine, they don't even realize it. So, final point is marriage. Now, these women, right, who are going into all these boyfriend-girlfriend type relationships, fornicating with other guys, sleeping around with a whole bunch of guys. That's a dirty, low-quality woman. Now, that ain't no woman who's high value. Going back to the first point when it comes to purity. Virginity matters. It's valued across all societies throughout several time periods in history. But these women here, they want to dish it out to these dirty, low-quality guys. And then they, in their delusional head, they think that they can jump onto the marriage market and be like, oh yeah, I want a high-value man. When their value is all the way down here. That's why these women here are just so delusional now. That's why a lot of these guys don't want to even get married nowadays. The Muslims, non-Muslims, they don't even want to entertain marriage anymore. They're like, why am I trying to marry somebody who's already lost her virginity, who's already just given it to other guys? It don't benefit a man when it comes to marriage. These government type marriages. So I'm not talking about just regular marriage, I'm talking about the government marriages. It don't benefit men. Because their assets just get taken away from them 9 out of 10 times. The high value men, guys who are working on the purpose, guys who are grinding. As soon as they sign up to that government marriage, that's it. Locked, pinned down for life. Full power and control over that guy. So that's why it's really important. When you assess a woman, look at her mindset towards marriage. As soon as you come across a woman, she's not in need of marriage. She's not trying to speak to you for marriage purposes. She's like, oh yeah, I'll just see how things go. That woman there, she's just literally wasting all her years. A woman of value should actually get her dad involved, get her family involved, want to do things the correct way. But low quality women, they just want to chat on the internet all day. Text all day on social media. So just to wrap up, purity. Purity is by far the most important characteristic of a high value woman. Promiscuous behavior is completely unacceptable. A woman who sleeps around with all these other guys. Disgusting behavior. Now that right there ain't respectable. That right there ain't no high value woman. That's a low value woman. Next point after that was scarce. Any woman that you guys are seeing on the internet got all her body parts out for everyone to look at her in a dirty sexual way. That ain't no high value woman. You know, somebody who covers her beauty, dresses modestly, dresses appropriately. She ain't got all this makeup on when she's going out. She's secure within herself. That's a high value woman. Next point after that was feminine. This right here is missing in modern day women. Feminine. They'd rather just be masculine all day. You know, just be argumentative, be rude, obnoxious, competitive, trying to compete against other men, trying to show that, oh, we can do the same as men, we are equal to men, and all this other nonsense. None of that is attractive to masculine men. It don't matter how pretty you look on the outside with that woman Sadia, she's going on about beauty. Beauty in her eyes is makeup. You know, the amount of makeup she's got on every single day is shocking. Got a whole plaster on every day. Telling you, I swear, get these women right, put them in front of the flipping, get them in front of the sink in the toilet, wash all that off, soap, all of that, just scrub all of that off and then talk to me. Talk to me then. Yeah, let's see how much confidence you got. Yeah, 9 out of 10 times these women, they won't want to talk to you. You know, it's only because they're hiding behind that facade, that fake image, is where they get all this fake confidence from. You know, that right there ain't attractive. And final point was marriage. High quality women, they preserve themselves for marriage. They preserve their virginity. They don't dish it out to low quality guys. Ain't even got a flipping ring on your finger and then you've dished out your most valuable possession. You know, a woman of value, she keeps herself pure, she keeps herself feminine, she's scarce, she's not out on the streets doing wild activities. You know, she's keeping herself to herself. You know, and that right there is really, really attractive. And that is a high value woman. So I hope that makes sense, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.